Today is Friday, May 24th. The time is now 12:14 p.m. Can I please get a roll call?
Carlo Leandro.
Here.
Rose Greenup.
Here.
Gina Ramos. She's on island. Yolanda Perdones. Frank Ariolo.
Here.
Richard Saban.
Here.
Ada Bautista. She's on island. We have a quorum. Dr. Mary Okada.
Here.
Kenneth Bautista.
Here.
Simone Bollinger. Here. Attorney Montanonia.
Present.
That's it.
Thank you. Let's recite the mission statement, please.
Community college is a leader in career and technical workforce development, providing the highest quality student-centered education and job training for migration.
In front of you, you have last month's minutes, meeting minutes. Please review.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes with no changes as is?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Communications, please.
We do not have any communications.
Public discussion?
We do not have any requests for public discussion.
Great. President's report, please.
Okay, we'll start with the financial status of the college. Currently, we have received year-to-date $13,874,634. And so the breakdown is $8,825,297 from the general fund, $4,302,060 from the MDF. To support the Witchy Scholarship under the general fund, $52,336, and then the FY22 MDF additional collection of $694,941. And based on the allotment schedule, this represents 87% of what we have requested. And so we are again continuing to receive funding on a regular basis from the Department of Administration. We do not anticipate that there will be any shortfall this year. Continuing on, as of last week, of the 17 graduates that we had on the LPN, we did receive notice that 16 did pass. So we do have 16 students that have taken and passed the NCLEX. And we still have one student, I believe, pending to take her exam. We did participate in a proclamation signing for youth apprenticeship, and we do have currently 7 high school students that are currently enrolled in the program with support and participation from the Hyatt and Pico Hotel. And that activity is led by our department chair, Carol Cruz, and she's done a really good job in advocating for youth apprenticeship. And this is the first youth apprenticeship that we've had in partnership with the Department of Labor. So this is actually a really exciting program. They're hoping to expand it to include other hotels as well. We did do the completion of the Child Care 6 boot camp on April 17th. And our culinary students had an opportunity to attend an event sponsored by the Philippine Council General on the lecture on Filipino noodles.
Wow.
And they are organizing another one on Filipino rice cakes.
Wow.
So students are getting some firsthand support from the Philippine Council in terms of preparing Filipino food.
Wow.
And then we did have Simon Sanchez ProStart, marketing hospitality students participate in the Island Girl Power, their annual pancake fundraiser. And so we do want to thank our faculty, Kathy Chargaloff, and our chefs, Phil Callis and Chef Regine Velarti, for participating in that event. April 26th, we held the Guam Loves to Read book launch here at the Learning Resource Center. And this program, the Literacy Navigator program, was actually funded through the governor's office. And this program continues to run today in partnership with the Guam libraries, and currently the navigators are supporting DYA students. We did distribute 7,200 books that were purchased as part of the literacy, and there is a, we do have a new program called Guam Loves to Read, and so we're hoping to extend these into the summertime, and we're working on a back to school event as well.
And what grade levels do the books carry over from?
So the books were distributed to all of the public libraries, to even the GBOE public schools as well. And some of our navigators actually participated in helping tutor and coach elementary students. And I'll give you an example, because during that event, one of the navigators, and her name is Gabriela Leon Guerrero,
Okay.
from Georgia. And she talked about her experience helping a student who was in 3rd grade. And the 3rd grade student, their class was working on short stories. And a 3rd grader did not know his alphabet. So she worked with the student, and in her testimony she says, the letters, he finally learned his alphabet, the letters became words, and the words became sentences. And so she was so proud of the impact that she had on that student. And so that just extends, that literacy at the younger age is very important, that we need to help support that, because eventually these are going to be the students, if they decide to go through either our program in high school or post-secondary. So even though it was outside of our realm, it really talks about what we can do in terms of providing support for literacy in the community. And this was really brought to us early on when we started to discuss transformation with Dr. Laura, and when she talked about, and Dr. Sam, when they talked about summer learning loss, where during the summer, during that time, the students actually go backwards because they're not having any consistent engagement, which is why we will continue during the summer to offer this. And there are a lot of projects and that they're continuing to do. They do have the books. We're looking to do something, maybe something in terms of like a little bookmobile that they can get into the lower underserved areas to help support the students in, Guam is all rural, but there's some areas that are really
more rural than others.
Yeah, and so they're working through that program with these literacy navigators. So we're hoping to continue that program going forward. And we do have a really good team that is working on that project. So one of the requirements that we have as a recipient of federal funds is, it's called drug and alcohol prevention. That's something that we have to stay on top of, and so we have been providing some drug and alcohol prevention training to many of our employees so that we meet those requirements. There is a team that is put together to address those issues and meet the federal compliance. Thanks to Dr. Mike and his team, now the university has now updated their general education course requirements. So now math and science courses now articulate, and we're updating our catalog this year so that those are also provided. SNAP EMT is something that is offered through public health, and so many months ago, maybe about almost a year ago, we received a small amount of money through ACCT to develop a SNAP EMT partnership and program here. We did have an opportunity to meet with SNAP representatives from USDA, Food and Nutrition Service, And they have been taking a look at what we have in terms of being a strategic partner for our students. Because many of our students are Pell eligible, we want to provide information so that if they need additional resources, that they're able to access it on campus instead of having to go to public health. So it's one of the things that we can do in helping to provide additional support services for our students. And so we had a visit with him last month, and they're identifying that our partnership application or role is on track, and that there are several modules that we have to review and update, and those are all on target. So that's a good process or a good partnership. We did receive 2 scholarships from the Camacho Foundation in early April, so that is also something that we're going to further expand on. And then the Vice Chairman and I did present the fiscal year 25 budget. I think the senators are very happy that we're able to pull down the cost, and so we'll see what happens. They're
The first one to present.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. I'd like to talk a little bit about the capital improvement projects that we have. So we did award already the storage system that we have here on campus, and so that has already been done. We are working on another grant application for a solar parking canopy, and so that application is coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we're looking to submit something.
How many stalls are you guys looking at?
I don't know yet. We did a application before, and we didn't get funding, so we're hoping to look at something. We're probably going to start on the inner side of near the admin building, not in the fire lane, because we can't put it in the route for fire department because of the trucks. So we'll look to see. I think they're still putting the application together, and once I find out, I'll let you know.
I've done some research on it, so just let me know if you have any
Okay.
questions.
Okay. And then I'll report on the other construction projects later on.
Moving on to monthly activity reports. Simone, we can start with you, please.
Well, classes for post-secondary, of course, ended already. Secondary is just finishing up, and so we're everyone, at the end of the semester getting grades in, seeing students that maybe you haven't seen in a little while. But as far as I've heard, there haven't been too many issues with that. We've been playing around with the summer schedule, because we're starting a little bit earlier, I think, this year, maybe, or Sanchez is finishing completing a little bit later with their ceremony. So I know, like in our department, we've had some interesting numbers. So our higher level, like EN 111, we have like 16 students in it, which over the summer is less common. But our EN 110s, we had 2 sections, and we had to put them together because we had 5 in each, 5 and 6. So that's the work that's happening right now, especially with summer starting in the next week and a half or so. Is just looking at the classes, working on enrollment in that area. On May 6th, we had the Chamorro completion ceremony for the 2nd cohort. This isn't a GCC certificate, it's a Commission certificate, and we offer the classes. So this is our 2nd cohort that's completed. There are 11 students. We have 2 more cohorts coming after them, and then we're working to have more cohorts after. And that was a big thing. And then also we had on air, which I talked about last time. We did end up having about over 200 attendees that came to check out student projects. We also had some student information that was collected by other students that kind of spurred our department to look at what's being done, what else we could do to support students in their overall wellness. And so we're planning an event in September, which is Suicide Awareness Month. and to sort of look at the whole student and being very collaborative with other departments in other areas and see what we can have come in and look at that, which I think we've seen has kind of been an issue since COVID, right? Is that there's more mental health issues surfacing that, you know, we're trying to catch up with or trying to attend to, right? Help the students do our part. Graduation, of course, was just last week Friday. I couldn't attend. My daughter also had her completion ceremony that same day at 10 a.m.
Congratulations.
Yeah, elementary. But Fred Tupas, you know, took my place, and which is quite fitting because he's retiring, and he was union president before, and has always done a lot to support faculty in the union. We have 4 faculty retiring this academic year, and so. So I did go the day before graduation and saw the stage and helped set up a little bit. It's always beautiful, and I don't know if majestic is the word, but there's just this sense, right, of like the big stage and all the things. And it was my first graduation to miss, so I did have a little bit of FOMO, wondering, checking the website or the Instagram, you know, looking for pictures and stuff. But I was told it was a nice ceremony. So. Other than that, summer, I'm gonna be going off island, so I won't be here next month. I'll come back late July. And yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good trip.
Enjoy.
Ken?
Yeah, so the support staff are working on the assisting students who have registering for classes for summer and fall. And staff are also preparing the campus and the rooms for the start of summer. And so yeah, so we're doing basically most of that. Graduation, I felt was a success. It was really great to see. It's in the morning, so majority, the staff were there. We had some meetings, but most of the staff were there. The majority of the staff were there, and so it was. I see it as a success for the college, and watching the grads get their degrees with this really figurating. It's just good to see them have these people inside our workforce, and or some of them most likely will be going on to the university or higher education. And so then I also attended, I'm not sure if this was what that one was, but I attended that link with the students. Oh, that was really good. I saw a whole bunch of students with a lot of talent and entrepreneurship, and it was just good to see it. I got some stuff there while I was there. But yeah, it was really something that's interesting. I'm glad that they're doing something like that, because people get to see these students or entrepreneurship individuals that offer things to the community itself. And last was I attended besides the graduation, I attended the Workforce Development Center groundbreaking or ribbon cutting. So that's pretty much for my report.
No, kudos to the staff and everyone else. Graduation was efficient. That's all you heard from students, parents, everyone else, was that it was just, they were going there with the worst thought of being 4 or 5 hours because there were so many graduates, and to be out of there under 2 hours, they were ecstatic. Yeah, so great job.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really efficient because I made it to my next event. I was able to attend the next event. Exactly, they didn't expect me to be there a little bit early, but yeah. But again, it's congratulations. All the team is a really nice graduation ceremony.
The ceremony was quicker than trying to get out of UOG back onto the main road.
I think that's the longest one, right? Yeah.
Want to go for Board of Trustees?
All right,
So
okay.
anyone report
Yes.
outreach?
So, as what President Okada is, no offense, but it's a two-woman power on the first budgetary. Somebody whispered to me, like watching the YouTube, I didn't know that we're live during that time, just text me like, oh, the two-woman power, like doing a budget hearing. But I really thought it's gonna be a short one, but boy, that was, President Okada did a really great job. It was almost 2 hours of questioning
Selection
on
season.
that one. So everybody wants to give their input during that time, but it was really good, and thanks to the team of putting all the documents together for the budget hearing. Of
Thanks for
course,
standing in for me.
no problem. Yeah, it's groundbreaking ceremony of the Workforce Development Center is being a lot of feedback that we're seeing, a lot of excitement in there, and I'm really thankful that we're up that. And then of course the graduation. But May is a special month for us nurses. So May is Nurses Month. We had our awarding ceremony, and our very own assistant dean on Allied Health, Dorothy Duenas, is actually one of the nominees for honorary nursing practice and nursing and allied health education. So I want to just give kudos her representing GCC in that nursing practice. So and with that, congratulations again for another successful school year.
I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the workforce development. So we have to report.
And then I was there too as well, the groundbreaking for the Workforce Development Center, and then also for graduation.
All right.
But you and Dr. Gunn were also at the scholarship presentation for ELAB.
Yes, that from this, and I actually kind of like hinted already, right, that they're gonna support the ADN program as separate scholarship. So we're trying to look out for another, video providing resource for our students. With that also, we didn't look into adding a scholarship also with the Guam Nurses Association into the GCC ADN program.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're kind of revising our policy that would include now the GCC as a part of the undergrad. So it's not much, but it's
Every little bit helps.
things that to support our students.
Anything else? Great. All good stuff. Moving on to unfinished business.
So, starting with the construction projects for wellness centers. So the wellness center, I did a follow-up with the contractor that is supposed to finalize our financial feasibility study. So we need that in order to close out the USDA loan. In addition, USDA requested for an overlay map for the footprint of the wellness center so that we can see where it sits in relation to the biological survey map, which identifies butterflies, snails, bats, and trees. So we need to see where the footprint of the facility will be in conjunction with where these butterflies, snails, possibly bats and trees will be. So we're just waiting for the feedback from the overlay. So it looks like we provided that to them already. Building B is going to be our next exciting completion project. They're currently at 71.83%. And right now they're looking to request for a time extension possibly till August. But right now the contract is until June. They may need a couple more months to finish. I haven't received the request yet, but I'm anticipating to receive something for August 2024. Workforce Development Center, of course, we did the groundbreaking, and they're currently in the permitting process. We know that they're doing some internal demolition already. Culinary Arts and Baking Center is now at 52.17% complete. So that's moving along. Last I reported, it was at 21.6. So they're doing the trenching for the drains, the plastering, installation of the framing for the dry walls, and the installation of the copper pipes for the water line and the gas lines. And yesterday, we received official notification from U.S. Department of Ed that our minority serving institution grant is now extended until June of 2025 for liquidation. So we submitted that in, so there's still about 1.3 million on this project. And so I submitted information that in the process of construction, we identified that the roof needed to be changed. The design was done for that, and it has now been change ordered to the contractor. And so they approved our request for extension. So we have another year to obligate. Right now, that project, even with the time extension, is in April. So
What was the amount from the vendor for the cost estimate for the roof repair?
it was about 800, but that has already been awarded to them. And then building 2000, the generator at 2000 is currently at 92%. The only thing they need is for the fiber optic cables to be pulled and the testing of the copper wires, pending testing result of the copper wire. And so once that thing is done, then the generator should be completed. That project is supposed to be done by June 8th, so that would take a couple more days. But we've already awarded the pulling of the telecom and the fiber optic cables.
Okay.
So that's where we are in terms of construction. We did receive a follow-up request. So if you remember during the ribbon cutting for multi-purpose was the announcement of the FEMA grant for building 600. So there were some follow-up questions regarding that. So we have until I think next week to submit any follow-up prior to any official award. So I will be coming to the board. We're doing an update on A&E because we don't have the A&E funding secured yet. So we'll work on
What's
that.
the A&E right now, do you know?
So initially the A&E for building 600, they gave us a proposal, but that was maybe a year ago when we were doing, and then they combined it with building 500, but I've asked them to separate it because we need to accelerate. So for both of them, it was running about 900. Yeah, for the design for both buildings.
Do we know what the percentage is for the cost of construction?
Not yet, not yet.
I think we need to take a look, because I know right now A&E fees going up.
Yeah.
We need to try to manage that.
But remember that 600 is a two-story with a mezzanine overlooking 500, so that'll be a little bit more. So I'm just waiting for them to update, and then we will secure funding for that.
Okay. I'm interested in seeing what type of rate we're experiencing with them.
Yeah, okay, so that should be coming forward soon. And that's all we have right now in construction projects.
Thank you. Any updates on accreditation?
We will present the ICER to you in July, so we'll do it in July instead of June. So Vice President Tadella and Dean Pilar, ALO and Assistant ALO, and I both attended the ACCJC conference. And there were several sessions that dealt with the ICER and the new standards. And so there's some documentation tweaking as links that we're trying to update. So good for that conference to come right before the ICER is submitted. The ICER has gone through the governance process in terms of the approvals, but so we're not changing anything major. It's just the supporting, most of it is the supporting documentation based on what we're doing. So basically what the accreditors are looking for is what are you currently doing? What is your current process? What have you done, or what have you identified as things that you needed to update? and what have you changed as a result. So they're really looking forward to seeing what the current process is, what we've done in terms of recognizing that process, how we can improve, and what modifications or changes that we've done as a result. So for all the standards. So it's not just a matter of, they're no longer just looking for, do you have a process in place? They're looking for more of what are you doing as a results, with the results of your, like surveys and results of courses that you're offering. So they're looking more towards that. So we are giving the vice president and the team just a little bit more time to fine tune it before it comes to the board in July, and it's due August 1st. So we still have some time to do
So
that.
just mainly updating the report and providing some evidence that we have done.
Correct, because it's more on the evidentiary side that we're looking for.
All right.
Looking forward to it. Moving on to new business.
Okay, so on the new business, so there, Alan Searle did provide an update to a couple of the board members regarding the compensation study. In your packet, you do have a couple of documents, and Appendix A is the faculty job evaluation results, and basically this takes into consideration and numerically assigns based on job title a score that is helped to use in building the compensations tables. And so Appendix A is the faculty job evaluation results that takes into consideration 12 different components, and it's their education experience, complexity, scope of work, problem solving, support received, work environment, physical demands, decision-making, HR, contact, and authorization they exercise, and supervisory management responsibility. And so that's in Appendix A. Appendix B is the market data, and this is the market percentiles based on 2022, and it takes you from the 5th percentile all the way to the 95th. Of course, our goal is to eventually reach the 50th percentile, and so this is the benchmarking and the market percentiles using 2022 data. That's on Appendix B. And then the document right behind it identifies how many individuals that we have, and identifies the average of each of the benchmark positions, and identifies post-secondary, secondary, instructional, non-instructional, and by the different ranks. And so the 5 ranks are identified here. And then on Appendix C is the salary regression and the job evaluation points. And so currently, this identifies faculty members that are above the 50th percentile and below the 50th percentile. And so this is the regression documentation. Appendix D is the cost of migrating faculty to the 20th percentile. And this identifies that in current faculty, the number of faculty that are below the 20th percentile is 45 out of the 106, and above the 20th percentile is 61 out of the 106. And the cost associated with this, moving them to the 20th percentile, is $110,000. And on Appendix E is the number of employees that are less than the 20th percentile, which is 49 out of the 106, and 57 of 106 are above the 20th percentile, and the cost to migrate at $239,659. And so this is presented to the board to approve. We've only presented two options, the 20th percentile and the 25th percentile. So we're presenting it to the board for their authorization and approval. Did you want to add anything?
I did also attend the presentation by Alan Searle, along with the faculty senate president. So I think it's great that we're working, especially as, for our incoming positions that are being filled. I mentioned 4 just retired, so I think it would be great for attracting high-quality professionals.
The most impact really is on the emergency instructors and the assistant instructors. That's where the biggest impact will be in terms of moving them to a higher starting salary.
And we do have funds for this.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need a motion, or should we
We have
take a
to
look?
pick which.
We need to select the 20th and 25th.
Good.
And what was Alan's recommendation? His was the 20th, right?
His is either the 20th or the
Or
25th, yeah.
And where are we now?
So right now, so this is the different compensation schedule, we're currently at the 15th. And we adjusted in January the administrators to the 20th. Yeah, to the 20th. Now, in the recommendation of the compensation study, before we moved to the 15th, the recommendation was to revisit it every 3 to 5 years. And so we're within that time period, which is why we're doing this. Now, it recommends a review every 3 to 5 years, but that doesn't mean that the board can't move from the 20th to the 25th or the 25th to the 30th at some point in between.
Yeah.
There's always that option. It just suggests a complete review of the compensation based on the market every 3 to 5 years.
So Dr. Mary, you said the biggest impact would be on entry level and emergency instructor and assistant instructors. Is that where we're having the most? I know like we've lost some secondary CTE positions this past year and been struggling to fill those.
So in terms of difficulty in recruitment right now, what we're doing is because when there's vacancies, for example, in secondary, we bring them on as LTAs, but we are moving some of those LTAs now into permanent positions. So there are a series of announcements that have gone out already for secondary positions.
And this is still salary for LTAs, right? Is there still
Correct.
position?
It's still salaries for LTAs.
So this would really help in recruiting.
It should help, and we usually test, if we're starting a new program, we bring them on as an LTA. If we're bringing in a new faculty, we usually start them in as an LTA. And then we convert it within a year or 2 years to a permanent track based on the numbers. And some folks that we bring in on the LTA, basically it's to grow the program in the high schools to get the enrollment up for some of those. But the compensation, whether you're full-time or whether you're limited term appointment or permanent, you'll see it's the same compensation schedule.
So I'm gonna make a motion, or can I please get a motion for 25th percentile?
Motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
Good job, everyone.
And we wanted, remind again, effective.
So it will be okay, so right now the faculty have already received their evaluation for the current academic year. So their evaluation and slotting is effective the first pay period of August. So we will slot them with their increments first, and then do the, implement, oh no, I'm sorry. We will slot them first, and then do the, implementation of the pay scale.
Okay, so we'll.
Yeah, because we don't want to implement the pay scale and then give them their increment. We would give them the increment because it's based on the current, I mean, it's already passed, right?
Yeah.
So it's evaluation for their past performance, so we would do that first and then do the, adjustment based on the, compensation.
So they will realize more likely in August, September.
It's always, yeah, they're all in the same, so it will be the first pay period for the academic year, which is in August.
Something to look forward to. Yeah, okay. And then we still have how many vacant? Quite a.
Vacant positions?
Vacant positions, like for the instructor and faculty.
I have to go back and take a look. I mean, we have some, but where there's a vacancy, we don't have an active recruitment or eligible applicants, then we'll bring in somebody on the LTA, or for post-secondary, we hire adjuncts, additional adjuncts.
But the market out there is so competitive right now that it's really, we gotta do our part to try and maintain faculty that we have and also just to recruit. It's a different market out there.
It is.
Okay.
Motion approved. Moving on. President's travel request.
So this one came up, I did have a discussion with the board chair prior to presenting this, so there is a contract that we have now engaged with in helping to build a pathway for additive manufacturing. And so we're part of a larger group. Dean Pilar and I will be heading to Denver to participate in this development.
What's additive management, if you don't mind?
Additive manufacturing is actually using 3D printing, similar to what we learned in OSHA. And so there's an opportunity for us to enter into that market and tie it to our construction trades programs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interest and a lot of money. So I'm requesting for your approval. I had asked the chairman ahead of time just to secure.
I think there are actually contractors that are planning on using it here already.
Yeah.
So this is
Well, for
perfect
concrete,
timing.
yes.
Yeah.
And we are working with our construction trades faculty to bring in the 3D printing as part of our curriculum.
At
Have
Gateway
you
Technical
seen the
College.
new box now?
Yeah.
3D
So
box?
they just have
The prefabricated
rows and
3D.
rows and rows
Yeah.
of large 3D printers.
Yeah,
Size that you can just walk into. I mean, they were just, there's a manufacturing plant within the size of these two rooms, right? I mean, they could just produce anything. It's really impressive.
I was at a library in Helsinki, and on their, for the public open, they have sewing machines, 3D printers.
Wow.
So I think that is a big,
it's good to have it
also available for public.
development, yeah.
libraries.
Yeah.
It's also a process.
Maybe with them to do public libraries and have sewing machines and 3D printers, and maybe we'll start doing manufacturing.
Helsinki, you said, right?
Finland's not a bad country to follow in that kind of stuff.
Good stuff.
Can I get a motion to approve the president's travel schedule, please?
Motion.
President, can I get a second? All in favor? Okay, anyone opposed? Motion passes, approved.
Thanks, everyone.
You have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Have a great
out of executive session.
Motion.
Back into regular session, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Regular session it is. Okay.
So that's your point.
Anything else?
Motion.
Motion.
Oh, motion to accept, to approve and accept the president's report, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? President's report accepted. Okay, anything else before we adjourn?
No, sir. Good job.
No.
Good job, everyone. Graduation.
Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So, okay, the second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh.
Job,
Meeting
Chairman.
adjourned.